Hi, welcome to our Wednesday devotionals. I'm Drew Patton, the pastor of First Baptist Church, Edwardsville. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about Isaac, the son of Abraham, and how he was blessed by God and how he was the blessing to Abraham that God had promised. Our passages come today from Genesis 21 and Genesis 22. In Genesis 21, Isaac is born. Isaac is born to Sarah, who is 90 years old, and Abraham, who is 100 years old. Sarah said, "God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me." And she added, "Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah could nurse? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age." So Sarah had Isaac when she was 90 years old. When 14 years earlier, Abraham had tried to skirt around God's promise by having a son with Hagar, but God made the promise special to Abraham and Sarah that their son would be the son through whom the world would be blessed, and through whom God would fulfill his promise to Abraham. Now, our series is called Beginnings, and we're going to look at the beginning of Isaac's faith today in Genesis 22. In Genesis chapter 22, God tells Abraham to take Isaac he says in verse 2, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." We don't know how old Isaac was when this happened. We do know that it was sometime later, as verse 1 says, and that Isaac was old enough and strong enough to carry some of the wood and to ask questions about who the sacrifice was going to be. Now, this is the beginning of Isaac's faith journey. He would have heard the stories growing up of his mom and dad's, Abraham and Sarah's faith, and how they trusted God to give them a son. But this is the point when Abraham's faith has a direct impact on Isaac. Isaac had to hear what God said to Abraham and was going to be the object of the sacrifice. He was going to be the sacrifice himself. Now, I wonder what Isaac felt when he was tied up and placed on the altar. I wonder if he trusted God, or if he was scared, or if he was confused and concerned. I would say that he was probably confused, concerned, and scared. But what happens is that when Abraham is about to stab Isaac and offer him as a sacrifice, God provides a ram so that Abraham doesn't have to kill Isaac. He doesn't have to sacrifice his son. God says, "You have proved to me that you trust me, that you would give me everything, even your one and only son." And because of this, God renews his vow, renews his promise that Abraham's descendants will outnumber the stars and the sand. I think for Isaac, this is the beginning of his faith journey of trusting God. He sees that God requires hard sacrifices from time to time, but that God also provides the sacrifice when he is trusted. I think for us today, I think the question is, are we trusting God even with all of our hard, with the things that are hard to trust God with? I know I have a hard time trusting God with my children, with my future, um, with things that I feel like I have some kind of control over. Um, and I'm somebody who really wants to control things. Um, Even though I've learned in life that most of the things that we do are outside of the control of our control. So I think the question that we need to ask ourselves today is, what things do we need to trust God with? What things do we need to sacrifice to God? What things is God calling us to sacrifice, to give up, to offer Him in return for true faith? Um, if you will, would you please join us tonight at 6 o'clock for our Bible study? We'll discuss more of this, more of Isaac's faith journey tonight while after our dinner, and I would love to see you there. Thank you, and God bless.